Hello, welcome to Dun Girls Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today, for Batman Month, which, yes, we're continuing Batman Month, I decided to, instead of finishing on Batman versus the Shadow crossover, the Murder Geniuses, I decided to end it on a two-parter movie review. And that two-parter review is going to be Batman The Long Halloween Part One and Part Two, which is adapted from the Jeff Loeb Tim Sale graphic novel from I think it was the mid '90s, which I read back in the day. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was apparently the inspiration for the Dark Knight, the second in the Dark Knight trilogy by Christopher Nolan. This movie is directed by Chris Palmer and is starring Jensen Ackles as Batman slash Bruce Wayne, who voiced Jason Todd in the Red Hood movie. So it was, Red Hood movie. So it was kind of cool to get to see Jensen Ackles as Batman, and he did I think voice acting wise, he did a very good job. He didn't sound like his typical. He didn't sound like his typical voice. He changed. Sorry, what I meant to say, he changed his voice. It's a lot deeper, more growly, but not like as bad as Christian Bale in those Dark Knight movies. Man, Christian Bale's Batman voice was so terrible. Here it's pretty cool. Jensen Ackles does actually a pretty good job as a young Batman who is still who is still an amateur when it comes to detective work. That's one of my biggest problems with this film. Because the story for this film is basically, I'll get into casting. First, you have Jensen Ackles as Batman, Naya Rivera as Catwoman, who apparently died last year, R.I.P. David Dastmalchian as Julian Day, aka Calendar Man, which is kind of funny because Calendar Man in the Suicide Squad movie told him to go fuck himself or some fucking shit. It's like because he played Polka Dot Man in the movie, and then Calendar Man played by what's his name? Sean Gunn, I think is his name, the guy who's brothers with James Gunn, told him, "Hey, Calendar Man, you fucking suck," or some shit. No, he was like, "Hey, Polka Dot Man, you fucking suck," or some shit. Which is, man, kind of funny that he played Calendar Man in this movie. You have Troy Baker as the Joker, who's doing his Mark Hamill impersonation. That's actually really good. This guy, he also voiced the Joker in that Batman Suicide Squad movie, and he was so good as Mark Hamill. I thought it was Mark Hamill, but it's not. He's doing an impersonation. You have Josh Duhamel as Harvey Dent, and Jack Quaid as Alberto Falcone, and Billy Burke, the dad from Twilight, as James Gordon, who does a good job. And you also have Titus, what was his name? Titus Welliver, as Carmine Falcone. Yeah, Carmine Falcone, right? And that's pretty much most of the famous people on this casting. So the story is basically Batman, Harvey Dent, who's the district attorney. This is before he became Two-Face, right? Is teaming up with Commissioner Gordon to take down the Falcone crime family, which is one of the long-running mob families in Gotham. But what's going on is somebody is going around killing Falcone's men and leaving holiday trademarks, right? So the first murder happened on Halloween, so you got a pumpkin. The second one happened on Thanksgiving, and then you have a third and the fourth on Christmas and New Year's, right? And Batman has no idea who is committing these murders when it's pretty much obvious to everybody. At one point, Batman and Commissioner Gordon go to see Calendar Man because they think he has a good idea who it is. And Calendar Man pretty much straight up tells him who the killer is, who the prime suspect should be, and they don't want to believe it, right? Which I'm not going to spoil it. And they don't actually reveal who the killer is in this movie, and it's been a while since I've read Long Halloween, so I don't even know for sure, right? But it's pretty obvious who the actual killer is, and it's just that they don't want to believe it, right? And also, Joker breaks out of Arkham Asylum and wants to kill whoever Holiday is, and he pretty much figures out who Holiday is. Well, it's the thing where he finds something of he actually stumbles onto Holiday's identity, but I think it's implied that he didn't know that was like Holiday's murder weapon, so or he wasn't 100% sure, because like he confronts somebody who is obviously Holiday, and then lets him live, and then tries to gas Gotham Square during New Year's, and is telling Batman, oh, he has like a 50-50 chance of killing Holiday. He's not actually sure who it is, which, like, was he lying or what the fuck? I have no idea, man. I'm a little confused on that, because like he could have killed Holiday, but he didn't. Beforehand, right? So that's a little weird. Yeah. So like, I'll get into my likes and dislikes. One, I thought the voice acting was pretty much great in the film, except for Josh Duhamel, who is a good actor, and he was great in the shitty Netflix Jupiter's Legacy TV show. He was great as the Utopian, but like he doesn't have a voice for voice acting, in my opinion, right? He just doesn't. It's not bombastic enough. It's just to me, it just doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound like, like a voice that would be good for voice acting, because it just sounds like a regular actor just acting, right? It's not a good voice actor's voice animates the character, right? It makes you, and I feel like his voice was not good, man. Which Billy Burke totally didn't sound like himself, and he was fucking great as Commissioner Gordon, man. All right. Which if you want to watch an awesome movie with Billy Burke, check out Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard. That's a fucking awesome action film with Billy Burke as a satanic cult leader who's trying to sacrifice Nicolas Cage's granddaughter. Nicolas Cage, who was killed, comes back from hell to kill Billy Burke and save his granddaughter. It's a fucking awesome movie if you haven't seen it, right? Yeah. So yeah, I thought like Josh Duhamel's voice wasn't so good. I wasn't a fan of the character designs. I felt they were a little too simplistic, right? I felt they were too simplistic. And I know it's like they don't even try anymore to like adapt the artist's like art style in these movies, man. It's like, what the fuck? I know Tim Sale has a pretty wacky art style, and I'm not a fan of how he draws Batman either, but like, if you're gonna adapt his work, at least try. They didn't even fucking try in this movie to adapt his art style, which is like, what the fuck, man. If I was Tim Sale, I would be pissed. But like, it's the thing where like I'm not a fan of Tim Sale's art style. I feel like his art style works great with Superman. It doesn't work great with Batman. But if you, like I said, if you're gonna adapt like one of his one of his graphic novels into a animated movie, like what the fuck is your excuse for not adapting his art style? Like, what the fuck? Like, the Japanese have no problem. Like, if you're fucking shitty South Korean animators or whatever the fuck animation studio you're using can't do it. Get a fucking Japanese studio. They have no problem adapting weird art styles, right? It's the more detailed art styles that they have trouble with. Like you're never gonna see a vagabond anime, probably. Unfortunately, I mean they could have probably pulled it off in the '90s, but now it's like, oh, they don't have the budgets for, like, you know, like well detailed art. So yeah, that's another criticism. They don't even try to adapt Tim Sale's art style, which would have made for a pretty cool, like, animated movie. If you, like, you know, it would have been like a very wacky, obscure, like you know, animated film, right? So yeah, they didn't even try, which that pissed me off. Also, the CGI vehicles in the movie pissed me off. I thought I hated the Batmobile. The Batmobile looked really. It's a thing where it's pretty much the Batmobile from the animated series, but they shrunk it, and seeing it in CGI, just it looks so fucking bad, right? And then there's the fact that Batman's a shitty detective in this film. That's the problem. Though there's some cool action scenes in the film, like when he fights the triads, that was cool. Yeah, that was cool. And then there's the scene where, like, Joker tries to gas Gotham Square with a prop plane, and Batman fights him on top of the plane. That was a cool action scene as well. But, like, overall, I thought the movie, it was pretty much. I think the movie is a bit kind of average at best. I'm only giving it 6.5 out of 10. Though I thought the voice, I'm giving it. I'm saying it's a little bit better than average because I did like the whole mystery, right? And I liked the whole, like, the performances with the voice actors. Like Jensen Ackles did a great job. Troy Baker, Billy Burke, Titus Walford did a great job as Carmine Falcone, who, if people don't know who he is, he's a famous character. I don't know. I wouldn't say famous. He's a character actor that's been in a lot of movies and TV shows. He was one of the, I think, what was his character's name from Deadwood? Whatever. He was in Deadwood, right? And he was also in, like, wasn't he one of the FBI agents in the first Michael Bay Transformers film? I think it was. I can't remember. Yeah, he's a cool actor, and he did a great job, right? Yeah. So that's my. Yeah, so 6.5, and I'm going to review the part 2 tomorrow. Alright guys, peace.